British and Irish Lions player ratings the morning after. How did you rank how each individual did in that game against Argentina? I've given them a score out of 10. Let me know where you agree or disagree and where that leaves some players in the current... I mean, it's only one game in. There's a long way to go, but the test matches will be here before you know it. And those test match 23-man squad spots are going to be fiercely contested. Have any individuals properly put their hand up? Well, let's get straight into it. Do you know, it was so bright and hot this morning. I've been up for ages, so I thought, let's just get on and talk more rugby. So if you appreciate the content on the channel, then leave your comments down below, hit subscribe and all that. Ellis Genge, 8.5 out of 10. I thought he was the Lions' best player. And spoiler alert, that is the highest score in the Lions 23. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Dominant in the scrum, rampaging around the park, making clean breaks as well. Andrew Porter has got a job to do. Ellis Genge, everyone stays fit. He looks like he's going to be in the matchday 23, but he could well be a test starter on the strength of performances like that. Luke Cowan-Dickie, 5.5. Arrows, massive concern for the Lions. The line-out did not function. It was a bit of a shambles, to be honest. Scrum was really good, and you have to give Luke Cowan-Dickie some credit for that. He did drop the ball over the try line when it was begging, and that could have changed the complexion of those opening moments in the match. So, yeah, Luke Cowan-Dickie will be flying to Australia today, frustrated, I'm sure, and wanting to do better. Bad day at the office for both of the hookers on show. Dan Sheehan's he's just the main man, isn't he? He's the only show in town. Finley Beum wasn't even selected in the squad. And what a debut for the Lions. Absolutely brilliant. Scrum dominance, absolutely marmalised Vivas at scrum time. Work rate around the park. He was carrying, he was putting in defensive shots. And Tyke Furlong's only just coming back. You'd think, Finley Beum is the third choice tight head prop. However, he's playing really well. He will be sniffing maybe that number 18 jersey. We'll see. Second row, Marawitoji, difficult one. He was calling the line out so far as I could tell, and the line out didn't function. Lots of effort, but yeah, it's just one of those nights. Wasn't quite Maro's night, or for that matter, Tyke Byrne, who I think had a mixed bag and perfectly demonstrated by the fact he scored. He finished a lovely try, cut one of his trademark lines straight through a hole, over he goes, and then at a critical moment in the game gave away a dumb penalty when the Lions were chasing a win and 5 metres out with a penalty of their own on Argentina's line. And yeah, Byrne bodged it on that one. So 6 out of 10 for him. Into the back row, Tom Curry, really industrious. He was quite handy as a line-out jumper. Just such a tough character. When you think about all the injury concerns Tom Curry's had and the performances he's put in coming back, it's remarkable. So he earned his place in the squad, no question. One of the guys that's been there before, and he was just putting massive shots on in defence, carrying really hard. I gave him a 7. Jack Morgan found life a little bit trickier, partly because of the fact that the Lions appear to be going with the much used 1-3-3-1 kind of system, 2 pods of forwards in the middle, in between the 15s, and Jack Morgan was quite often one of the guys on the edge. And I don't know, there were lots of offloads and stuff that were given that weren't quite on. It wasn't totally fluent, but we never quite saw Jack Morgan playing the way he can play. I was really excited to see him in a strong team. A couple of great jackals though, and you know what? He's still a contender for a Test match 23, but he was done, or the back row for the Lions was done by Matera, Gonzalez and Oviedo, moving me on to Ben Earl, who I also gave a 6. He carried hard all night, but just, big number 8 in heavy traffic. Joaquin Oviedo was that man. And he was tireless, but it was just one of those nights. It wasn't bad. It was okay. Just... yeah, 6 out of 10, which is exactly where I stick with Alex Mitchell. He possibly has dropped. I mean, if you were just doing it like a little power ranking thing, you might say Alex Mitchell's now kind of, in your mind, the third choice scrum half because Thomas Williams was so good coming off the bench, and I'll come on to him in a minute. Alex Mitchell, again, didn't do anything really badly. He had a couple of nice moments. It's just the box kicking wasn't quite on the money. And as a result, Argentina were on top in the aerial game a little bit. I don't know. It just didn't have that quite same fizz. But then I think a big part of that is the fact that that Argentinian back row just made a bit of a mess. Finn Smith, similar. Didn't quite click the way we have seen Mitchell and Smith. But that said, he was taking it to the line really well. Opportunities he was creating. Some people were forcing passes elsewhere that weren't on. There were opportunities that he didn't quite take, but it's early days. 6 out of 10 is all right. It was a tricky day for Duan Van Der Merwe, however. First game in a couple of months. So you'd sort of expect him to be, having to blow the cobwebs off a little bit. And it definitely looked like that. He lost possession towards right at the end of the first half for that killer try for Argentina just before half-time. He was at fault for that one. There were nice moments in attack, though. Lovely offloads and steps, and he looked really dangerous. Aerial and kicking game is not something you think of when you think of Duan Van Der Merwe. And when you have Duan Van Der Merwe and Marcus Smith in your back three, that becomes a little bit of an issue. Centre, not so much of an issue. Loads of power. Big try from Bundee Aki. He always either set a target, got over the gain line, or was a threat enough that he had to attract opposition defenders, and that left space for someone else. So it was a good day at the office for Bundee. It was a mixed bag for Sion Palotu. I mean, on the strength of the time he spent at inside centre after Bundee Aki went off, I would have given him a 7 for that. Overall, I'm going a 6. Maybe I should have given him a 6.5. He wasn't bad at all. It's just he was done in that 13 channel. Him and Tommy Freeman got done for that first Mendy try. The Lions got tightened up a little bit, and they always say that the 13 channel is the hardest one on the pitch to defend, and I think you saw Sion Palotu is an absolute elite 12 and a good 13, and he was all right, if not outstanding. Tommy Freeman had some really good moments, more and more as the game went on, and he was one of the few people that actually challenged in the aerial game and was a real threat there. Tidied up a lot at the back, won a lot of good ball going forward. He looks dangerous, and he looks like a test match 23 potential test starter, although there's competition there as well, as I will come on to. Finally, Marcus Smith. Now, I don't understand the level of criticism Marcus Smith has got. I've seen him kind of been scapegoated a little bit. I mentioned this on the video last night. I thought he did quite well. I mean, the tries that Argentina scored, that Cordero one, the Albanese one, the mistakes were made further up the field. The mistake wasn't Marcus Smith's. You can't have one man back there and they score a try with a 3-on-1, and then you blame the guy for not being able to tackle 3 people all at once. So he worked as a second distributor, and he in the transitions and trying to launch attacks, and I thought that's what he was there to do. He was on for the whole match, and it'll be interesting to see how much time he gets at fullback with Blair Kinghorn being away. He's clearly a much better 10. I just didn't think he was bad at all. I think what you have to say is, and it's probably an issue of selection, partly with the selection, it's the fact that there weren't many options, but Duan Van Der Merwe and Marcus Smith in the back three, that made the Lions vulnerable to the Argentinian kicking game, and so it proved. But then no one's surprised that Marcus Smith and Duan Van Der Merwe aren't the strongest in the air, because that's not what they do. On the reasons why Marcus Smith was picked, I thought he was decent. Bench, Rona Keller, bad day at the office. Some shocking arrows. And yeah, I don't know what was going on. The fact that it was Kelleher and Luke Cowan-Dickey suggests to me that it's more fundamental than just the hookers being bad. Hookers always are the ones that get blamed for it. And there you go. I'm doing it a little bit myself with giving Rona Keller a 5. Pierre Scubin carried loads. Scrum was decent when he was on. Busy, 7. Furlong, great to see him back and get minutes under his belt and come through it unscathed, 6. Scott Cummings, the same. Henry Pollock, mixed bag from him, did some really nice things. Then a howler of a tackle on Thomas Albanese, which led to the try. He got stripped at the end of the match as well. So Pollock a 6. Williams was a spark when he came on. He could have played himself above Alex Mitchell in the rankings based on that 80 minutes alone. And Williams looked full of energy when he came on, kind of changed the dynamic of the game. Elliot Daly as well, really handy when he came on, much more safe at the back, good counter-attacker, and Mac Hansen as well just added a spark. So there were some positives off the bench and in the second half, but the toughness of Argentina meant that it wasn't enough to get the win. Those are my thoughts. I would say the big winners, Ellis Genge, Finley Beum, Thomas Williams, maybe Mac Hansen as well. Those are the sort of 4 winners. The losers out of this one, the 2 hookers, Kelleher and Cowan-Dickey. Mitchell, because Williams did much better than him. Yeah, and Duan Van Der Merwe. There you go. 4 and 4. I don't know why I picked 4, but there you go. I've done it. There you go. Let me know what you think. See you on the next video.